Final community, I'm back to do another installment of this sort of series that I started that I call top rated records in my collection. And if you don't know the premise, which you should know by now if you have seen the other ones, is that I have all my stuff, all my records logged on Discogs. And from the first day I started to log them, I also used their rating system 1 to 5 stars to grade the music, not the pressing, not the value, not anything, just the music of the records. And what I do now is I sort them on rating, based on rating, and I pull out some stuff from my shelves that I think, in my opinion, is 5-star records, the best records music-wise in my collection. So that's the premise, of this series, and in no particular order or something like that. It's all 5-star records to me, and I try to do it so that you see a little bit of the collection also. So not only one genre, I try to mix it up a little bit. So yeah, let's jump right into it. If you have any comments, please comment. I love the comments, especially on these videos. Comment if you don't agree with me. We don't always agree with each other, that's okay. Please comment if you have any tips for me of records that sounds like these or maybe others, but keep it 5 stars, if you know what I mean. Like it would be nice to really keep it to the subject, like 5 stars. Oh, you heard this, but maybe you should check this out. This is also a 5-star record in the same genre and stuff like that. But keep the comments going. It's been awesome to read them and to answer them with these 2 videos. So let's start installment number 3. Okay, this is a pain in the ass, but such a good record. This is Banco del Mutuo. I won't even pronounce the entire name there, but Banco, the Italian progressive rock band from 1972. This is from 1972. And their debut album, one of my favorite progressive rock records ever, and definitely in the Italian sort of genre. Comes with it's a gatefold, very fragile, as you can see, and the backside with this sort of piggy bank flap that you can pull up here. It's impossible to store. I can't store it in the shelf. It just sticks out, and I can't store the record here because it gets all wobbly and stuff like that. So I store the record in the shelf, and I have this up on the wall actually. Impossible to store. But this is the Sony Music reissue from 2009. Very good, well-made jacket, very well-made vinyl. Sounds perfect. So highly recommended. It's starting to run away a little bit in price now, but it's nothing compared to a good sounding and looking original copy of it, which should be impossible to find really. Highly recommended. Definitely a 5-star record. Another 5-star record all day long. No, I mean hands down a 5-star record is this one, Roy Harper's Stormcock from 1971, a VC favorite of sorts. The first time I heard about this was when Tony, Mr. Fart Boy, showed this in a video many years ago, and I've been looking for original copies since, and I've never found one. And I bought the reissue when Roy Harper himself released this on his own label. The jacket is okay. The pressing quality is not that good. It doesn't sound perfect. It sounds better now than on my new setup than when I bought it. But I mean, it deserves the love it should have, if you know what I mean. It deserves to sound perfect. Long ass songs, but perfect. There's not a bad moment on this one. 5-star record, definitely. And now to something completely different. This is actually the first time I'm showing this, I think, in the VC, and this is not vinyl related actually. So, but bear with me. This is a DVD called Heima with Sigur Ros. Sigur Ros released this in 2006, and Heima actually means home in Icelandic. And that's just what they did. In 2005 they went on a major world tour, and they just got so fed up with it, so they decided to go home, have a documentary team with them to film both them and especially Iceland. And what they ended up with was this fantastic documentary. It's released with a book. It comes with a book with beautiful pictures from their tour on Iceland. I think it's a DVD with the documentary and a CD with the music on it. And we get in-depth interviews with the band, and we get fantastically filmed footage of Iceland. And they play in churches, they play on open fields, they play at big venues with open sky at night. It's so beautiful. The guy who filmed this should, I mean, he should have an Oscar for best film photography. Beautiful, beautiful piece. If you're a film fan or if you're a music fan, check this out. Heima with Sigur Ros. So going back to vinyl, so I don't lose any subscribers. This is also a 5-star record, according to me. All Will Be Changed with Frumpy, 1970. I think these are Dutch or, yeah, I think Dutch, a Dutch band. There's the Gatefold, reissue on Repertoire Records 2001, but original 1970. This is a progressive rock record with beautiful voice by Inga Rumpf, I think she's called. Inga Rumpf. Very, very cool voice. Perfect progressive rock record. Frumpy, 5-star record. And this is almost cheating because everyone thinks that this is a 5-star record. But if you're familiar with my sort of collection, this may come as a surprise. But at the same time, maybe not. But I love Raining Blood with Slayer. I'm not a metalhead at all. I have the lousiest kind of metal collection in the entire universe. It's like this small. But I love this record. It's a perfect just LP. It's high energy, well played, fantastic songs, greatly produced by Rick Rubin, and the sound quality on this original US press is fantastic. The best sounding metal record in my collection. It's a 5-star record. Moving on. So now we get into a little bit of a Swedish kind of stint here. This is the first one of my Swedish records that I'm going to show you. 1960s or early 70s. Very early 70s in that case, but I think 60s. Persepolis with Staffan Abeleen Quintet. Classic in the Swedish jazz catalog. Perfect record. If you're interested in jazz, check this out. It's not a free jazz record. It's not a fusion record. It's a... I don't know. I'm not that familiar with the jazz terms. The terminology for me is very hard. I can't listen to a record and say that this is a bebop record, this is a hard bop record, this is a post-bop record. I'm not familiar with the terminology, but you get what I mean. Just listen to it, okay, and make up your mind. If you're a jazz fan, this is a must listen. Persepolis with Staffan Abeleen Quintet, classic Swedish jazz, and definitely a 5-star record. This is one that a lot of you guys know about, and it deserves all the praise that it gets. This is Solarplexus from 1972. Let's say 72. In my opinion, this is a 5-star record. Not all the tracks on both LPs, because it's a double LP set, but not all the tracks are perfect. But as a whole, if you sum the experience by listening to this up, in my opinion, it's a 5-star record. And you can't see this, but there with blood red thin marking on black, you have Jojje Wadenius' autograph. He signed this for me. And let's just pause this for a minute and talk about that. Me and two buddies were attending a child's concert many years ago now. Well, not many, but some years ago now. Jojje Wadenius every third year or something like that goes on tour in Sweden, and visits a lot of towns in Sweden to perform his Goddag record, often with just a trio. And that's a child's record with children's songs, perfectly performed on record from 1971, I think, the Goddag record. A lot of you know about it, but so he was in my town to perform that, just a 30-minute sort of concert for children in the middle of the day, and it was us three and 50 children in the concert hall with some parents and some daycares and stuff like that. And my friend actually started crying at one song because it hit him so hard. He's in his 60s and he grew up with and followed Joy Wadenius in the late 60s, early 70s and onwards. And one of the songs, he just started crying. It was so beautiful. Anyway, so I had 3 records with me, and we went up to him with a lot of children around us, and I gave him this one, made in Sweden, made in England, and the Goddag record, my own original press, for him to sign. He thought it was so cool to see a LP, but I guess pretty sad also, like 3 grown men watching a children's concert and then coming up to him to get their old records signed. But awesome experience, great record, 5 stars. Swedish metal. As I said, my metal collection is like this, and it includes some Swedish records, but mostly the Swedish records in my metal collection that I have is 5 stars, because I only buy the metal that I really, really like. And with my setup today, metal doesn't sound good, really. This is a 5-star record to me. It was released 2006 on CD and reissued in 2015, maybe, something like that. Not reissued, issued on vinyl for the first time in 2015, maybe. This is Cult of Luna with Somewhere Along the Highway, and if you haven't heard this, check it out, especially one song called Finland. It's a droney, kind of very like moody metal record. The thing is that the guys, and it's a huge band, they went up way up north in Sweden, where snow and like wind rules, almost like Winterfell in Game of Thrones. Very, very doomy, and in the middle of the countryside or in the woods even, they went into to record this in a little small cabin, and they turned all the lights off, just had candlelight and recorded this, and you can really hear that in the production of this one. It's very, very, almost like a horror soundtrack, almost. Long songs, very drony, as I said. Finland, check it out. But the entire record in its whole is a 5-star record. I bought the CD when it came out in 2006, and I had it in my car, heavy rotation. Heavy rotation. The last Swedish record, and this is a classic. I haven't met anyone who dislikes this record, so please comment if you don't like this record, so I can ban you from my channel. This is Monument by Hansson and Karlsson from 1967. Bo Hansson who did Lord of the Rings, and Janne Loffe Karlsson, who played on a lot of records in Sweden. This is the original Swedish first press. It's been reissued also. This is a masterful record with just organ and drums. Very jammy, psychedelic, progressive, and the sound that these two make with just 2 instruments is unbelievable. It's a groundbreaking progressive record. 5 stars. Pop and rock. This is Harry Nilson with Nilson Schmillson from 1970, let's say 71 or 72, but along the line of that, 71, June. 5-star record, hands down. There's not a bad moment on this. There's not a bad song on this. It's just a perfect pop record. Gotta get up, driving along early in the morning, fantastic. Down, Coconut, Without You, Jump in the Fire, Shit, Let the Good Times Roll. Maybe not a 5-star song. Okay, I'll Never Leave You, fantastic. And the follow-up to this, not a 5-star record, but almost. it's also really good. But this one is the highlight of Nilsson's career. A great career, but the best one, the one that I play the most at least. And check out the band lineup on this one. It's just the who's who of great studio artists and great artists from that time period. Yeah. What more to say? 5 stars. This one is a reissue. I wish I had the original press of this, but it's so damn expensive nowadays, and I've never found a copy, not on a online sort of shop or a physical shop here in Sweden. I've never seen an original copy of this. Maybe it has been sold on Swedish eBay, but I've never seen it. And it goes for too much. This is Rasheed Ali and Frank Lowe with Do Exchange. And the energy on this is just... It's like when you drop the needle, it's like a freight train drives over you and it just keeps on going on both sides. Fantastic. Great musicianship and improvised music. I guess at least improvised freer jazz. So much energy. And with this sort of like setup, just drums and saxophone. Coltrane's Interstellar Space comes to mind, but I think that for me this is the one record I've heard up to date with that sort of lineup. That I think is the best one, and definitely a 5-star record. I've shown this many times, and I guess I'll keep show it till people understand how freakingly good this is. Dennis Wilson's Pacific Ocean Blue. If you haven't heard this record, stop everything you're doing and turn this on right away. The drummer from Beach Boys did the best Beach Boys record that ever recorded. Okay, Pet Sounds is awesome, and Holland was also awesome, and Surf's Up is also incredible. But this one is the one that I play most of all the Beach Boys and or related records. Fantastic, and I managed to score a first US promo press a couple of years ago, I think it is now. Fantastic record, and that artwork, I mean, shit, that artwork, fantastic. And even it's almost like a little bit of shame that the sticker is here, because it ruins the artwork. But as a record collector, if it's like collecting stamps. Like, in my opinion, this only makes this better, because I know that it's almost like having a piece of history, owning this. It's you get even closer to the final product, if you know what I mean, and closer to Dennis himself. Stupid, but yeah. Going back to progressive music, last one I'll show you in the progressive sort of genre. This is Cressida. I don't know. 1971, I think, or 70. 71? 70. Yeah. Prog rock with jazz influences. And it's a masterpiece, in my opinion, of course. On the lovely Vertigo Swirl label, and one of the best Swirl records I've ever heard, music-wise. It's one of my absolute favorites. Top 5 at least of the Swirls that I have heard. I haven't heard all of them, and I don't count Black Sabbath. I mean, Sabbath's first and second and third record is masterpieces, but I don't count them as this kind of swirl records. I don't know why. Live in their own kind of universe. Okay, moving back to jazz. and this was recommended to all of us by Teddy. And I remember when Teddy showed this, he had a sound sample for it too, and just 10 seconds or something like that. And when I heard that, I just paused the music and looked it up and ordered it right away because I needed a copy of this. It sounded so interesting. Just those 10 seconds sounded so interesting. And the record he showed and that I'm talking about is S.O.S. by Alan Skidmore, Mike Osborne and John Sherman from 1975. This is a fantastic jazz record, just hands down fantastic jazz record. You have saxophones all the way through, but Alan Skidmore plays tenor sax, drums and percussion. Mike Osborne plays alto sax and percussion, and John Sherman plays baritone, soprano saxophone, bass clarinet and synthesizers. And that blend with different saxes, the sound that they make, and the synthesizers just sums this up so good. Fantastic record. And I actually had a friend at home here to listen to some jazz. He wanted to dive into jazz a little bit because he had only heard like the standards that you know about. And we played some Miles and we played some Coltrane, and I like the ordinary stuff. But then when I went on to show him what jazz can be, I mean more about jazz, I played this one because this ventures on a little bit with that sort of jazz tradition and tries to break loose a little bit from the jazz barriers. I'm from Sweden. That they have. So it's. I mean, and many jazz records does that obviously and have done for generations. But I mean, with this one, it's so easy to listen to and understand that it's jazz, but it's more than that. It has jazz as we know it has evolved 1975, and a 5-star record. And last one before I leave you is this one from 1973. Yeah, 73 on Electra back then. This is Heartfood with Judy Sill. Perfect pop record, pop rock, singer-songwriter, folk record. A lot of genres there. But yeah. This is a perfect record. I could as easily have taken her debut record. This is the one that I play the most because of the song The Kiss, which I think is a 7. I rate that as a 7 out of 5 stars. It's sort of like the perfect song, really. Not many songs come up to that sort of height that The Kiss does. It's a perfect song. But Heartfood, yeah, 1973, and I've been looking for original pressings of that, but never show up here. So I bought the music on vinyl when it came out, both of them. Yeah, 5-star record. And when you listen to this record, look up the life of Judy Sill, and you get even more out of the music. Such a terrible life she lived, short life that she lived. Yeah, horrible and fascinating at the same time. So that's it from me. Please leave me comments if you have any, and I'll see you soon with the next installment. This is so fun, so I'll come back. Bye.